In today's video in RO-Scale Rails of Unionville, I'm going to be driving diesels for the first time ever that we've seen. So, the last video is going to be for one thing as well. So, I'm probably going to be spawning two trains at once and another one. There must be Conrail trains around here that I just totally added. But even more, that must be for some kind of the GP40s or like anything around here. So, looks like this is going to be for SD7As and the SD40-2 and the SD60 over here. It's right next to do this as well. So, I'm probably sure that must be a Southern Pacific locomotive around here. And the U-25Bs. And not anything around here for some sort of like this. Or the coal turbine as well. So, I may not able to be using the diesels like themselves. And probably there might actually going to be for some delete buttons or transparency trains like themselves. So that must be for the SD45 locomotives. So there should be another one in time. And this should absolutely look like this thing as well. So these are the SD45 locomotives. And these trains are from Norfolk and Western. And there must be a little bit more, some sort of this thing as well. So there's the SD70. And probably there is actually going to be for this one. And the B units. There's a whole lot more of these locomotives as well, like Norfolk Southern. Even though these probably locomotives aren't like GEVOs or anything like this, I'm totally going to get rid of these two. And let's keep for that one on. So this is the SD70 Ace locomotives, like the Norfolk Southern and Penn Central locomotive over the side. So which one that I just gonna be trying to pick up for just a little bit for themselves as well. And still more to come around here for this thing as well. This is where we spawn an Alco RS11 or the BNSF locomotives as well. So I'm probably sure that the SD60M is actually going to be the BNSF locomotives as well. So another BNSF locomotive is over here, and we definitely sure we're probably going to be driving for one of these trains. So I'm just going to be picking up for some of these trains, so don't worry, I got my plan. I'll be picking up as well. I'll be picking up this train for this time. And so, I won't be able to be deleting for some of these trains either. And don't worry, these diesel engines have delete buttons on top of their cabs. So, this may not going to be a little bit alright. It was followed by or something like that. So I would believe this is what I just tried to probably add it a little bit more. But I guess this train is going to be leaded by a Conrail. So this is the Norfolk Southern locomotive that I just chosen around of this thing as well. I cannot believe that we wouldn't explain for this. So I'll be connecting for this one. And hopefully this won't actually going to be for some sort of a terrible moment whatsoever. So I'll be probably going to be edit a little bit more once we're going to be back it up, and let's just eventually going to spawn even for this one. Let's slow down for a coupling mode for this one. We can't wait to fit for this train in here. I'll be using in another class, and let's just using the DCC consist of the train number 4100. Let's move this a little bit one without any derailing, or just a little bit. I'm probably really sure that this train should actually come here for a little bit for this one. And let's just couple it for the DCC address around here for one of these trains. I should not be able to collide for one of these trains that I completely added for. And then I'll be added a freight consist around here very soon. But I'm not very sure I wasn't able to spawn for some kind of freight, but only passengers that we probably should be able to be awaited for someone else. So I'll be using for one of its consists as well the train number 2500. And it's not going to be work. So there it goes. And probably also the train could lead a little bit forward here. And let's just honk it a little bit. So it was probably worked whenever it going to be it was. So let's head it back a little bit for this one. So it could be combined sounds like one thing. So I'm probably eventually going to be added with some rail cars, but I don't want to accidentally going to be added a little bit much. But Black Tank was even for much a bit for really dangerous thoughts to do so. I won't be able to spawn anything as well. Let's see for a full consist about of one of these trains that I'm gonna add. So first thing, let's add it for box cars like anything that before. And I'm not going to be spawning a black tank as well. So which is probably dangerous as well. As we look on to the cargo cars, there must be the mail car from the Brave Engineer. There's a high cube box car. I'm actually going to be for a 3-bay hopper. It's another box car as well. We definitely that put some rusty hoppers. And there is a little bit more. And a flat top caboose. I don't think so that I just not going to be getting around here. The Pacific Coast Center caboose around here for this thing that I just realized. If I gotta respawn something a little bit notorious, not notorious as well, so I definitely going to get rid of this thing as well. The double door boxcar and a 4-bay hopper. And this is absolutely for the cake services around here. But this is actually going to be not a piece of cake. The DOT hopper. I'm pretty sure that's not a hopper. It's a tank car. And another hopper as well that I just eventually spawn. So what it actually that says around for the baggage car? I don't want to delete anything around here for this thing. And there must be a 4-bay hopper. This is where that I just seen the rail cars from RO-Scale Sandbox that the developer uses as well. So I'm not gonna be using the Tanker Black or the BNSF Tanker. So there must be for a little bit amount of tank cars as well. So I just spawned a BNSF Tanker, which is not actually going to get around here. If I'm just going to be spawning a Tanker Black, this is absolutely probably illegally dangerous. So there must be a little bit amount of caboose, and there must be for a wood chip car, and a PS hopper, and there is a little bit for one thing. I didn't see anything around here. There's a wood chip hopper, and I wouldn't believe that we definitely find a high refrigerated box car. Where is it? There it is. I definitely spawned already, but I wouldn't actually going to be spawned that again. Even there is a rail box, a high cube box car or something. Oh geez, this is definitely even really big as well. We really even think that that must be for some other kinds of box cars. So there is everything around here, and if I just gotta be spawning the same thing that I just spawned back in for somewhere like that, I wouldn't be able to be surprised. So that's everything around here for some other kinds of this thing as well. So it's alright, and probably for the game passes too. So let's couple a little bit first. And we're gonna be starting out with a box car as well too. And there's the caboose around here right into the end. I managed not to find like anything else. So that must be for a few more box cars like we absolutely should have been able to do. So there must be tank cars over here, which could easily have a little bit of explosives or something. Let's couple for these two. Hopefully the train may not actually going to get a little bit heavy for around here. Let's do for a coupling speed. And look how these trains are being coupled around here. I'm pretty sure this should actually going to be taking for some time to collect like anything around here. So all the way down into the caboose, this is where we gotta be using for something as well. This is where the freight conductors that probably headed out for this time as well. Since I already spawned around here, so I'll be right back in a few moments. I have coupled more of these box cars around here, even tankers, and a little bit amount of hoppers that we totally coupled around of this in a few of them. So this is not which is going to get around here, but we eventually going to be reached to the caboose. I totally not very sure. I should be able to be added a little bit more. So I should be able to edit for somewhere a little bit more, but I wouldn't believe this is absolutely for a shorter train, that instead of going to get ourselves for longer things as well. So looks like we're absolutely going to be ready for around here for somewhere like this. So before I'm probably going to be a little bit moving on for around here, this train has got to be so long, and this is what I just never gonna be actually what you imagine. So this is the first time that I just drive in a diesel locomotive. as well before that we reach over 20 minutes around of this video. Let's give in for the roll around here for this time. And let's turn on the headlights on. And we are ready to roll in this locomotive as well. But wait a minute. That must be a problem. Let's pull forward all the way for this time anyway. So, in the recent problems for a round of this train, this could exactly it's going to get around here for one of these. And finally, the train is heading its way off the field. But looks like I definitely probably didn't hearing for some sort of the railroad crossings. It definitely worked as well. And so the train has moved a little bit forward as really possible. Look how long the train is. It's definitely literally long as even possible. And so the train will be headed towards to others. But there's another railroad crossing over here. This train wouldn't lead to anything else like before. And so the train will be headed towards into the freight line. But I guess this shouldn't actually headed this back. And that we're going to be headed around here into another one. So hopefully this won't be going to get so necessary at always. I'll be putting the trains at speed will be a little bit pretty slow. So I'll keep this train a little bit slower. But this should actually going to be do the trick as well. So we're going to be hear the horn for this thing as well. And the railroad crossings has activated as well. And so some of these trains are very collidable for something else. Because due to a little bit amount of glitchy situation over here, this is a little bit short, but for sometimes it's going to be a little bit easy. Hopefully the train could lead into this one, but the next stop is full consist area. So we're going to be continuing for this video around here, and let's go for some full speed soon, but this is not what I just totally going to be thinking about here. And there is one problem that there must be for a rail thing over here for the switchers. I'm not sure that the switchers could be affect to this train overall. And that could be even worse for any passenger trains or something as well. So here comes that train. And let's see what happens if they eventually go into impact into something like this. But wait a minute. There's a light, of course. And this won't affect to anything around here for above. If I'm gonna be hit around here to set to 0 about that train, it will be even go faster, like it probably can. So the train is going to be headed a little bit fast and on its way for the full consist area. So we wouldn't actually going to be making this train for full speed, but there must be a problem about here in this Unionville boxcar for this thing. So yes, we definitely going to be heading straight towards into this one, and then all the way straight into the yard. So I guess this is where the video ends, that we're going to be heading a little bit short. So we pretty guess it won't be easy. That should able to head around of this thing as well. maybe the freight train is going to be moving a little bit forward. We're really sure this freight train is going to be across. And that somewhat is gotta be a little bit easy. Alright, the train crossing just a little bit good. Everything is absolutely fine. Even for the freight cars as well. That they just hauling around. Oh geez. I think I almost froze the game. So let's see then how it's going to be before it works. So this won't actually going to be taking a little bit long. So hopefully I wasn't able to be using for this train again. As the train could be absolutely still rolling in about here. So I'll be having for a little bit amount of shot of this way. And see how the train it comes. Without any loud noises about the rail cars. Or even freight cars or something. No horns, just passing by. So I put the throttle of the train and how fast the train is going to be. And definitely, this is absolutely for not like anything it was. So the train will be crossing to this one until it's going to be arrived at another Unionville station. Of course, this isn't going to be already just away we go. And so the train could be for around passing by as possible, but looks like the train, even for the top speed, won't going to be topped off. But even though, there must be another problem in about of this situation. I would able to be a crossing of this thing as well. Even for the Doppler effect, sounds a little bit impressive too. But looks like we headed into another problem. Is one of some kind of like that. So of course we absolutely going to be switched around here for this lane. And the train should be able to be arrive at any moment at this one. So before we're gonna end of this video around here, this will be exactly for under 30 minutes of this video. So looks like the train will be decelerate around here as possible. And so the train won't actually going to be headed around here for it's a little slow. Not unlike anything else. So I did it absolutely made the long train as well. Because I'll be keeping this train a little bit short against for something that I'm started to lose frames. So I should able to be recommended to use small freight trains, I'm not sure, or short freight trains. I'm being using for short freight trains like this one, and I wouldn't able to be doing this a little bit again around here. Instead, it's not the part 2 of what I just tried. So I'll keep this thing on and re-accelerate around of this one. And so we continue to roll. And we probably arrived at the Unionville station. The Unionville Union Station, or the International Station around here. So, this is where for something like for more passenger trains arrived from the Unionville station. So, this train should actually head it out as really fast as it can. We're not absolutely going to be using the train horns anyway. And before this, it's going to be safety first. I eventually used the full throttle again. I'm not gonna touch some trains, and this train will not able to turn back, because looks like the train is gonna be arrived on this one. And so that wouldn't be even so necessary as well, but I can prove it that the train is gonna be stopping by, at least for now. That must be for the barrier over here, in which the train could be end of its journey around here for this thing as well. So looks like the train is gonna be stopping right over here, and the frames per second might actually going to drop a little bit. So the freight cars are about to slow down, and looks like that was everything around here for about of this train. I'm about to decelerate quick. Hopefully the train was completely short. And that's it. I'm probably going to be turning off for this video for just right now. If you're going to be checking out of this game, leave a like, and the game is in description below. So, thanks for watching. For only support around here for this thing as well, you can drive diesel locomotives around here within freight cars, just like RO-Scale Sandbox did, that I just totally added them as well from the game. Thankfully, you can actually rail fan for one of these things as well, instead of being a moderator or some kind of an administration or admin guys over here. Especially, you can spawn them with ease without anybody else who eventually try to spawn other trains as well. So, thank you for watching around here once again, that I just totally saying this, as I'll be signing off, and I'll talk to you mini lads and rail fanners all later into the next video, because the next one, there will be the last RO-Scale Rails of Unionville ever. So thanks again, and have a nice day. Or holidays, for pretty it was for the New Year's Eve.